Welcome to the Channel Surfers. I'm John McCabe, and I am the host of Channel Surfers, along with my very good friend, Jeff Lennon. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, John, I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, today's kind of a special day. We have a really great guest who can help talk about something that I don't think we have all the knowledge or expertise to talk about from a channel program standpoint. Marketing, channel marketing. That's always been either something I have at a company that I work for, something I don't have, right? And when I don't have it, it's really hard to do a lot of things that I want to do, from a channel program standpoint. So we're really honored to have my very good friend, Lisa Hayashi, who is the former Chief Marketing Officer at Safeguard Cyber and now the VP of Marketing at Mimic. So Lisa, thank you and welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me on. It's always fun to see you, John, and great to meet you, Jen, because I know I've heard so many things. I can't speak. I need a little start over.
Okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's all good.
Do you edit?
So Lisa, just
anyway, great to see you.
Yep. Give us a little bit of background on you. I know you've been in marketing for a long time, and you do such a phenomenal job. Just let's give our audience a little bit of what Lisa is and what you've done in your past.
Great. Yeah, thank you. So good to be here. I have been in marketing for most of my life. I started out in Brocade days, very early stage brand and demand gen marketer when we were like just getting started. So I was able to grow that brand, learn so much from incredible people. We started a channel program there with some amazing people with great expertise and scaled that company fast to IPO. So I always look for like great, right? That was an excellent ride. But I took some time, had some kids, did some, other projects, had my own business, and then worked 8 years for a venture capitalist that was investing in startups. He took his winnings from Brocade and ran a family office. And that was awesome because I really then learned a lot about what the startup world is like, what great looks like. And after about 8 years, I did decide to go back into marketing. And after a short stint in consumer marketing, I realized and validated the fact that I love B2B. And I wanted to be in a B2B space that was, I would say, meaningful to me. And that led me to cyber. So for the past 7 years, I've been in cyber. I loved our experience working together at Safeguard Cyber. We were building something really cool. We had some cool resources to build a channel program. That was really fun and exciting and hard, John. It wasn't always easy.
No. But we always laughed and we worked really well together. And it made the experience so much better. And like I'm not really experiencing channel marketing in my current role. I don't have it at my fingertips, but when you don't have it, it really kind of hurts because I can't do some of the things that I want to do, like that we did at Safeguard, right? So your experience, your background is amazing, and I think it's really appropriate for us to have this as a topic for our show because we try to educate our audience on every aspect of a channel program, and one thing we never really touched on yet is marketing, right? Now, Lisa, you've been a huge advocate of channel as part of your marketing strategy. What drew you to see channel as a critical growth engine rather than just a sales function, which it is in most organizations?
Yeah. Well, so I'll just share that I'm currently at a company called Mimic. We're a ransomware defense company. And we have the absolute luxury of having an incredible founding team.
That's awesome.
And so, Derek Smith started Shape Security and had an incredible exit from that. He's brought a ton of his great engineers and team members along with him to now solve the big ransomware challenge. And we're doing that in a unique way. And people want to listen and be part of the conversation. And I'm sharing this because we have partners that are so excited about what we're doing. And the reason that's important is because Derek can go into a bunch of CISO offices and say, hey, try this out. This looks great. But then how do we scale the business beyond, a founding team and a small sales team? How do we do that? Well, right? And that's where the channel comes in. And so if you start early on building a channel program, driving alignment across the organization on
Mm.
being 100% channel,
Right.
uh, you can then do these like founder led deals, but then you can start creating this beautiful force multiplier, across the industry with very key strategic partners, and then that can grow from there. And so, it's a flywheel, and if it's done well, and you really embrace that, and you have alignment across the org, it works extremely well.
You just touched on something that Jeff and I talk about a lot in the program, and how to build a program for channel. When you have great leadership that believes and gives you the leeway and the tools to build the program, it makes it so much better, right? And I think we had that at Safeguard. Chris Lehman, one of the best executives I've ever worked for. He's a sales idol of mine. He believed. Mike Canfield, they believed, and it sounds like Mimic is the same thing. You really have leadership that believes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, our current head of sales has had an incredible experience working with Channel and through his Mandiant days, and he's all on board with it, super supportive,
Mm,
helping introduce channel partners into the mix.
that's great.
We are in the marketplaces, so we're setting ourselves up, even though we're very nascent and early as a company, we're setting ourselves up for success. And there's not like this us against them mentality where channel comes in and we're stealing margin by creating these relationships. It's there's really quite a bit of alignment, and because of that, I'm able to plan and budget for a partner marketing strategy,
That's great.
and that's when it works, right? It's if you have a channel team and there's no budget for it, or if you have a
Yep.
channel team and then there's no marketing to support it, then all of a sudden there's all of this like stress and extra challenge that doesn't need to be there.
Totally agree. And you need to listen to a few of our podcasts to like hear what we talk about frequently. Some of those same topics you just highlighted.
Yeah.
But so Jeff, do you have any questions for Lisa?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we kind of skirt around some of the marketing stuff, right? Because when you don't have the marketing person, team, or process, you have to do what you have to do. So you kind of dabble in it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
both John and I have been in that situation where you just do what you have to do. One of our podcasts, we talk about going to a show, and it's basically no booth, all hustle required, because you just got to go figure out how to drive the marketing, because the plan is we're going to get you there. Go figure it out. So listening to your intro, it kind of made, I actually had a question, and then I'm going to kind of tweak it. But what do you see as really those top 3 or 4 challenges in the market today around getting that channel go to market going? Because you're at a really good point right now, right, where you're kind of building it out. So I think you're probably living these challenges every day. And so what do you see as the top 3 or 4 challenges? And if you, out of that, if you want to pick the top one, like how are you leaning into that to move things forward?
Yeah.
Great question.
So I think one of the biggest challenges is that a lot of the bigger VARs are expecting you to hand them deals to start with. And so,
Yeah.
sometimes those are few and far between when you are, working on large enterprise deals. If you're going after SMB or mid market, there's probably a lot more deals you can bring to the channel, but large enterprise is challenging. So, being very strategic about um, bringing deals to the table and uncovering opportunities together. And that really requires, I would say, like white glove service. So the challenge is
Yeah.
allocating resources and across multiple partners, because when you're new and you're young as a company, you don't have the resources. Time is the most valuable asset that a business will have. And so um, focusing on which partners you're going to lean into, I think, can become a challenge and a conversation and a strategy, so that we say, great, we can allocate time and dollars. So one of the things I'll share that I do is I have a partner marketing tiger team,
Hmm.
and I have our
Ooh.
CRO, our partner leader,
Hmm.
as well as a couple key salespeople that are really leaning into the channel and driving deal regs. And we come together and we talk about priorities on at least every other week
I love
basis.
that. I love that idea.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, it's priorities, time, and deals. Those are the three challenges that that exist.
And that's just a recipe for success, because a lot of times, the channel leader doesn't include those groups of people to understand what's going to benefit them. I think a lot of times, and Jeff, agree or disagree. Sometimes we're like on our heels trying to like fight the battle of the sales reps not wanting to work with channel, and you're not like engaging them in like your tiger team does to kind of like hear what they want, what's not working, what's working. And that's really something interesting. That could be a whole topic of a show, Jeff.
But
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
as you make progress, right? So you've
Mhm.
got your focus partners,
Yeah.
you have your marketing plan and strategy, and then, oh no, the deals aren't moving. They're
Mhm.
getting registered, and then what happens? And that's
Yeah.
where partner marketing really needs to step up and step in, right? Where they say, okay, what are the things that the channel needs to move the deal forward?
Mhm.
Deal regs are great,
Yep.
but then what? So,
Why,
Yeah.
yeah.
why, why,
That's great.
why have things stalled, so to speak, right? And John, to your point, I actually agree. And the way that you framed it, to me, what ends up happening is the channel manager ends up working in a vacuum, right?
Mhm.
Because he's out there by himself, kind of working in a bubble. And what I see with your Tiger team is, number one, you kind of break down those barriers, you tore down the walls, so that there has to be, John, we just talked about this, right? Communication is the biggest problem in
Sure.
business,
God, yeah.
period.
Yeah.
But you've created that Tiger team has created a line of communication between these different groups. The other thing that just jumped out at me is you're taking kind of an agile approach to it, because instead of saying, well, this is how we've always done it, this is how we're going to do it, you're adapting to the evolution and the dynamics of the market to ensure that you can be as successful as you can be, because it's not one size fits all, right?
No.
Kind of thing.
Mm-mm.
It's definitely not one size fits all. Every company has its own special and unique challenges and things that you gotta get through. And oftentimes, John and I, we got through where like all these MSPs wanted to work with us. We weren't multi-tenant, so we had to go through and then involve product, right, and figure that piece
Smoke
of the
and
business
mirrors.
out. Yeah, yeah.
That's
So,
okay. People love David Copperfield. It's okay.
yeah.
Got tickets to the show.
Yeah.
Look at my
So
hand over here. Hey, can we do that
so
event for you?
I
you know.
kind of add on to my other question, because as John will kind of back me up here, a topic near and dear to me, at least over the last 5.5 6 months since we started this, is AI.
Mm.
So my question is, in your experience, how is or has artificial intelligence been both a challenge and an opportunity for you in marketing?
So I think one of the challenges is that you have to really stay on top of how fast this is moving. I used to pride myself on being sort of in the know in what's new and what's coming out. But the problem is I'm in a startup and there's so many other priorities. So like
Yep.
studying up on what the latest tool is for
Yeah.
campaign strategy and management is challenging. So very important for me to keep my CMO network, um, up to speed
Mm-hmm.
and in contact so that I can be pinging everyone saying, hey, what are you using for this? What are you using for that? And then I'll share, I was at a dinner a couple weeks ago and we were all going around the table at a CMO dinner talking about all the use cases that we're seeing pop up. And it was such a valuable conversation because I learned
Wow.
so much. I had all these notes in my phone because there's tools that I haven't used that
Mhm.
are coming out that are awesome. And so, the challenge is keeping up and testing because, as you know, I'm in security. And so, just trying any old new tool does not fly
No.
in a
Mm-mm.
ransomware defense company. And
No.
so that balance of using best in class secure tools for AI. To accelerate my processes and workflows
Hmm.
is something that is top of mind. I feel fortunate. We've got an incredible security team, and they're not the Department of No. They are also curious and looking at ways to incorporate AI into our workflows,
The
which is great.
Department of No is legal.
Yeah.
So
Or
Jeff,
finance sometimes,
let me
right?
just give you an example of Lisa and how she was kind of out in front of AI. When we were at Safeguard
Yeah.
Cyber, she had a session with all the sales team and myself about utilizing ChatGPT to create these amazing prospecting emails that got meetings, right? And I think I've talked this about with you before, but
you actually brought it up in an earlier podcast, I believe.
yeah. I mean, it's just amazing, and I actually use the template myself still, right? And I use ChatGPT for a lot of things, right? It's amazing, but like Lisa was way out in
Great use
front of
case.
AI when I didn't even like think about AI until that, you know.
So yeah, I mean, there's so many ways that you can piece tools together. We talk a lot now in marketing about not being a marketer, but you're actually a go-to-market engineer, because a lot of my friends are actually using and coding with their AI tools, and creating really unique use cases and workflows. And so there's lots of ways that you can create entire campaigns in the partner ecosystem using a couple tools and lacing them together that just gets you from a campaign concept all the way through the content, all the way through the emails, and then the reporting back on how MDF is working for you guys. And so I mean, there's just it's a really exciting time for the channel, and I think that sort of engineering and using AI to your advantage, I think is going to give channel programs a big leg up.
Oh, I
right now.
agree. Yeah, like one thing, like Jeff and I talk about this a lot, like the importance of marketing from a channel program standpoint. Lead gen is so critical to any sales organization, but for a startup company, you need to have leads that you can bring to partners, the worm on the hook to get them reeled in and start
Yeah.
working with you. And when you don't have quality lead gen, you don't have the marketing machine behind it, it's so difficult, right? Like, talk to us about what you were so amazing with lead gen, your ABM and everything that you did. Talk to us a little bit about that and how that works, to help enhance the channel, strategy.
So I was just meeting with a sales leader at a partner, and we were having lunch the other day, and we were talking about a couple of accounts we'd like to work on together. And he goes, "Oh, by the way, do you guys have an ABM platform? Do you have intent data? Are you seeing anything happening in my patch with my customers that I work with?" And I thought, wow, that's so cool that the partner is starting to understand that and talk about that. That was something I was thinking about a long time ago. And when we didn't have tons of leads to deliver to the partner, I started delivering intent data to them, saying that these are the kinds of customers and prospects that are downloading content on this topic. They are searching for other solutions. They are, here's the buying committee at the company that we've identified in our platform, and kind of serving that to the partner to help them with some of their green space prospecting and canvassing is, I think, extremely valuable. And then if we, have the opportunity to create better events and higher touch points plus intent data, right? And then content to support it that's created and personalized with and for the partners. All of that, I think, helps in the process if you don't have tons of leads to just hand off to the partner. And if and you get the leads and then you hand them off, right? And then you got to decide
And
who you
follow
hand
up.
them
You
to.
got to follow up on
So
them, right?
so how do you do that, right? Like maybe you're using an AI tool to help understand how to equally distribute those in
So no
order to
more, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No more of that, right? We're
yeah.
gonna put some data behind it. I like
It's
that.
it's you gotta, the follow-up is so critical. But like you're talking about events, like we've done a whole show and we talk a lot about events. I think events are like overkill sometimes with partners, and they're not always the most relevant. You know how I operate. I want decision makers at an event. I want the money has to be spent wisely, but the follow up afterwards from that lead list that you get is critical, right? And you bring up a great point that utilizing AI to put together your follow up campaign is important, right? And I don't know if a lot of the channel managers that might listen to this show and are out there working in the field, they're out there doing the happy hours and the hugs and chugs. And, are they doing the follow-up? I mean, I've never known the reps I work with. Sometimes they don't want to do the follow-up. Right. So, I mean,
automating that
mhm,
is super important.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
personalizing it also, so you're not getting this spammy. Like, how many emails did you respond to from cold outreach today? Really, right?
Yeah.
Zero,
Yeah.
big zero. Me too. So yeah, so I think that's
None. I did none.
Yeah. I don't know.
let me check on that. Hold on, right?
I just needed to give that to you in real time. Just want to double check. I had to go back and look. Yeah,
I
none.
actually
That was
picked up
But
a
if
call
someone has a
today,
big
and the guy was like, "Hey, are you the VP of channels from Safeguard Cyber?" I'm like, "That company doesn't exist anymore." And he's like, "Oh," I'm like, "You're not doing your research," and I hung up on him. So you got,
that's a bad look.
if you're gonna call me,
Hopefully he wasn't a
talk to me
listener,
about what I'm doing.
John.
Right? What's that?
Hopefully he was not a listener. Oh.
I don't think he is. He sounded like he was in the Philippines or something. So
Yeah, Mike and I always would talk about taking those calls. Like, I take the calls, but I don't respond to emails because I always want to hear like the latest pitch and how to do it well. Cold, when poor people are calling, I have a lot of empathy for that. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So let's talk about metrics and impact. How do you measure the success of a marketing-driven channel incentive? We just talked about events and doing the lead list and the follow-up, but like, how do you track it? And how do you? I know this is something that's like in your sweet spot because we did it when we worked together. But like, what are you doing to like measure the success of your campaigns?
well, we're dashboarding everything that we do
Mm,
in Salesforce, and insert here your partner management system, right? Whatever that is, we're looking at engagement, we're looking at conversions, we're looking at number of meetings.
mm,
So I think you're probably referring to like my SQL mission. So we did away with crappy MQL
mm.
conversations. Like,
Yeah.
marketing will not deliver a lead under my watch if it's not qualified already. Like,
Yeah.
that we don't want to count that stuff anymore if we don't have to. And so our thing was first meeting complete. And so if you and a
Mm,
partner are creating first meetings together, that's a metric that we love counting and talking about,
yeah.
and then measuring whether it's partner led or we're bringing that meeting to bear. So uh, when you talk about measuring, I think measuring often and then at different altitudes. So I think it's really important not to like bring sales and partnership together and only talk about what's regged,
Mm-hmm.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
think we have to measure many other pieces of this process,
Yeah.
right?
No,
How
that's
many first meetings? At what rate are those meetings converting? How are they deal reg? If they're stuck in deal reg, how long and why, right? And
Yeah.
so looking at this whole thing as a funnel, just like I would our leads to MQLs to SQLs, I think is really important.
Yeah.
I think
And,
that, I
a
think that,
deal reg doesn't mean it's a deal unless there's a meeting set and you talk to the customer and you progress. So, that's
Talk
why,
about,
what's that?
I'm
God,
sorry, we talked about vanity metrics in
yeah.
marketing, and so there's partner vanity metrics as well that we want to kind of really break down.
I love
well,
how
but
you measure it after the first meeting set because that really is the stake in the ground, right? The flag in the ground to like
exactly.
make things
Yeah.
happen, right?
Yep.
So,
That's what I was going to say. I mean, again, just this is really helpful for me because what you're describing is kind of the evolution of marketing with channel because John, right? I could tell you a time where it was all about DR, right? That's all anybody cared about,
yeah.
and you've realized that it's a layered cake here. And by the way, if all you're looking at this and you're not getting these things that are building you up to that piece, you don't know it until it's too late. And
Yeah.
now you got to go figure out like, well, what happened? All of a sudden the deal registers have dropped. But if you were looking at some of the metrics down here, the vanity, as you called it, I think you get a better view of the business, of what's actually happening. And it comes down to data. If you're able to get to that data, a lot of people never, I mean, a lot of it was there, a lot of it wasn't, but I think it's become a lot easier to manage and track as well. So that's interesting.
I
Yeah.
think you're absolutely right. The data is there. It's what we do with it and who assembles it and then how we talk about it. That's really important. We don't want to you don't want to micromanage people and make them feel terrible every week. But what you do want to do is highlight, right, when something's working so we can do more of that. And so I think about it a lot. Like you guys in the channel often report
Yeah.
to the CRO. And I think that there's a lot in place for the CROs to measure and monitor and put SLAs around what the
Wow.
salespeople need to do
Mm,
from a process and like whatever their sales methodology is, if it's MedPick or whatever. But then what is that for the channel? What are those activities and things, and how do we measure that within the channel? And I think
mm,
there's a great opportunity there for channel leaders to really work that. And in bigger companies, I'm sure they do a lot of that. But in startup land, I feel like you guys get thrown in. You have so many things that you have to build and learn from. And it takes a really, really long time to start demonstrating the efficacy of the
mhm.
program through um,
Wow.
metrics.
Yeah,
And I always worry about that for channel.
for sure. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, in a startup world, you're wearing a lot of hats and you got to do many things, and you can't always focus on like the most important thing, which is like lead gen from the channel partners to get deals, because you're doing other things, like event coordination or outreach or whatever you have to do, right? And you get a little clouded, and it takes longer. I've told founders or CEOs that I've come in to help build a program. Like, this could take a year before you'll see real returns. And some
Hmm.
are like, "Oh my god, that's too long," or some are like, "Okay, we understand," right?
Yeah.
So it's really tough.
I learned a lot from like great sales leaders where they they look at what the goal is, and then they look at all the levels of activity that happen to get to the goal, and then they figure out where the problems are. And I
Yeah.
like I said, I believe we should do that in the channel too. So
Yeah.
if a channel program is launched, you guys need to say we're signing on 5 strategic channel partners
Hmm.
in the first 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm just making this up.
Yeah.
And then the next 3 months is about getting the team enabled,
Yeah.
right? And certified, right? We don't do anything until 5 channel partners are certified. Once that happens, then we're going to build our spiffs, our programs, our events, right? It's almost like we do some of this stuff out of order because we're just trying to find quick wins and deals, but those foundational things really need to be done and thought fully executed.
Hmm.
So, you know, getting the
Agreed.
commitment that your companies that you're working with are going to do those things and putting SLAs around that, I think would really make channel programs so much stronger.
So refreshing when you have a marketing leader who understands what you're trying to do and can help you grow that program. Like Lisa, it was like it just I didn't I think I took advantage of it when I was working with you, because it's so hard to get that type of leadership to team with you to get the program built and up and running the way you want it, right? And Jeff and I talk about this all the time. We really think we don't understand marketing because we're not marketing people, but we feel like it's such a vital piece to sales and channel, right?
Yeah.
We, we we don't understand marketing, but we play marketing on in chat. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love it.
right. Most
Well,
people used to play doctor on the internet,
yeah,
or TV. Yeah,
we
we
play
we play
marketing.
marketing. Right. Yeah.
Well, with how fast AI and marketing tools are going, sometimes I feel like I'm playing marketing too. So
Yeah.
we
We
all have
we have
imposter
chat to
syndrome
help
right
us.
now.
Chad. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're running up on time here, but I wanted to ask you this question. For a marketing leader that's new to channel, what's one piece of advice you'd give them to help them become, better partners to a partner organization?
Ooh.
That's a great question. Align with the marketing team in the focus partners. Um, really make friends with them, learn from them, understand how every partner territory structure selling motion works so that you can figure out how to allocate your resources.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that's one big important thing. I didn't do that early enough. I relied, I think, on the channel team, and you guys are so busy with other things, but like had I had a little bit more um, relationship building done with
Right.
the marketing leaders within like the bigger, like the Optives, the Guide Points, and all of
Mm-hmm.
them, then I would have been able to move a little faster there.
Yeah.
So that always works really. And they give tons of great information, and they want to, they want to see the success for the company. So they're always really great to work with.
That's great advice. That really is.
Yeah.
And that's something we did focus on. We tried to connect you to all the partner marketing leadership. Not always successfully. Like some were open, some were like, but that's really great advice to take away. If you're a channel marketing person listening to this podcast, that's a great way to start to see some success with your partners. Being on the same page, getting aligned, having regular conversations. Communication is critical, and that's the way to success. What's that?
Get your tiger team going.
No, yeah. Two really great ideas you brought to this show. Would love it.
Yep.
Love it.
Awesome.
All right, Jeff, do you have any further questions? I was going to let Lisa kind of pitch Vision and Voice, because I think it's a really important organization. I want her to have a chance to talk about it.
I do have a question. Here's my concern, Lisa. It could be a Pandora's box, because, and John will tell you, if you watch enough of the podcast, people spur more conversations in my head when I hear something. So when you were walking through and explaining what you're doing with AI and how you work with the marketing, and what you just answered that last question with John about getting engaged, the challenge that I'm seeing, and it's AI is actually exacerbating the challenge, but it's, in my mind, it's data overload, right? So with first of all, with the abundance of data that's out there, and then you tie in AI, and all of a sudden now you've got all this data that's out there, and then people are using AI and they're generating more data. I mean, what do you see? What's a good strategy that you're using or trying to work on right now to help be more effective to manage that data overload, both internally with the teams that are supporting the partner right in the channel, and getting that external message out?
Yeah, I think we have to unpack what you mean when you talk about data. So content overload, I agree wholeheartedly with. You can create content like that, whether it's good, bad, ugly, whatever. So being very methodical about what kind of content is going to be effective to enable your partner, and then what are they going to be able to use to represent your company when they are in the field. Like that, I think you have to be really smart about that,
Right.
because you just flood people with content. Like you said, it's overload and it becomes too noisy. So being thoughtful, measuring how your content's performing is really important. Data about intent and how your prospects and your partners are engaging, incredibly healthy, and I would think helpful. And this is why, because there are so many companies taking so many activities across the digital landscape that helping to prioritize where we spend our time through tools will actually only benefit your team. So these 10 accounts are in market. We're going to work on them together. And here's how we know, so sales plays and playbooks, I think, are what's key, following those right now. And then utilizing and inserting AI when you can automate a very manual process will then, I think, be a helpful way to incorporate your AI strategy.
Makes sense. It goes back to your first three: time, priorities, and deals.
Yeah, I think so.
You just hit on the first two. No, that was great. That was actually, I liked how you tied that back. That's awesome.
Great.
All right, so Lisa, before we sign off, talk about Vision and Voice. I know it's a very a passion project for you. Give our audience an idea of what Vision and Voice means.
Thank you so much for bringing it up. So when I started in cyber, I kept hearing from different people, yeah, she's a good marketer, but she doesn't know anything about cyber. And so how's she going to market? So I had to overcome that. I had to learn everything I could about cyber. I'm always learning. I'm, in a very technical company right now, and really, burning the midnight oil, trying to get everything down. But I think, I've had incredible mentors along the way. And I thought, learning, growing, leading is something I always want to do, no matter what industry I'm in. Specifically in cyber, I hear over and over that there's just not enough women in cyber. But more important, we have to realize that there's just not a lot of female leaders in cyber. There's not a ton of head of product, CEO, founder, CISOs. And so the ratios, and there's a lot of data around this now, and I'm capturing this data with Delve Risk and coming up with reports about this, because I think, building a community is important, and you have to find your niche, and you have to figure out who your people are and what kind of communities you want to participate in, I think, to be successful in any industry. And so as I was thinking about all of these things, not enough leaders, not enough women, people don't know enough technical information in different areas of cyber. What do we do to bring this all together? Started Vision and Voice because I wanted to solve that problem for myself. It was completely selfish. And it was during COVID and we couldn't get together very often. So we started doing in-person and virtual events that helped women network with each other so that they can see great, successful leaders and learn from them, whether they're male or female. So it's been around for about 5 years now. It keeps growing. We are in our second year at the Foundation Room, thanks to Night Dragon and a bunch of really great sponsors. And we are doing a panel with female leaders, and we have a networking group. And what we do at every Vision and Voice event is ask for leaders to bring up and comers, because what's the good of having a bunch of leaders talk about how great they are unless there's those up and comers in the room to learn? And I'll share something really cool. The partner ecosystem and communities are hearing about Vision and Voice. So we've got Carasoft and GuidePoint sponsoring and participating on the panel with us. And so it's really about community. It's about being around your people. It's about helping each other. And, we're going to talk at Black Hat with the community on how we're going to make it grow and get bigger in the future. So,
look, community, I'm a big believer in community partnership leaders. I'm very passionate about it. It's having someone you can, lean on their shoulder for advice and help and give them advice and help. And it's Vision and Voice is that community. I've seen newbies come into that Vision Voice and get jobs in cybersecurity and then be successful, so it's like you're helping them to get into a career, right?
Every time I see someone get promoted in Vision and Voice, I do a LinkedIn dance, I'll tell you. It's exciting.
So I will put a link to the Vision Voice website in the summary for the podcast. So if anybody wants to reach out and check it out, you could do so. But Lisa, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. It really helped us kind of get a better understanding of how marketing can, help a channel program. And honestly, we might have you on again from like an AI marketing tool standpoint. Like that's something we've been doing a series of shows on AI tools for channel. And I think we should probably bring you on for the marketing side of that.
I'd love to chat more about it and building a playbook around what the future could look like for Mimic using some of those tools. So I'd love that. And it's so great to see you and hang out with both of you. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, we loved having you. And Jeff, thanks again for co-hosting.
Awesome.
For those listeners out there, we are found on pretty much every podcasting service that's out there: Apple, Amazon, Spotify, you name it, Overcast. If you want to reach out to us, we have a website, channelsurfers.com. Email me, john@channelsurfers.com, or jeff@channelsurfers.com. And then we have a LinkedIn page where we post every Tuesday the release of our current show, and we give a summary of the conversation that we're having. So please reach out if you have feedback. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to reach Lisa, she is at Mimic. And Lisa, if you want to give your email or your details, that'd be great.
Super easy, Lisa@mimic.com.
There you go. And she's a channel expert, or a marketing expert, say, for channel. So, but with that, I appreciate you being on the show, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Can't wait. Take care, guys. Thanks.
Lisa, it was great meeting you, man. Thank you again.